Start my video.
Me too.
Hi, everyone. So we are going to get started here soon with the PowerPoint. I'm not sure how if you've got gallery view set up or speaker view set up, but if you can see the two moving people, that's us. And let's see here. Great. So again, welcome. Usually we have this training at like the crack of dawn, and I'm looking out of my window now, and it is a little later, which is nice for all of us. Hopefully you all have your caffeine, you've had some breakfast, time to settle in, and it is just this beautiful sunny day out, and it's super cold, and I feel like that's the best day to be inside training, when you can see the sun, but you know you don't really want to be outside because it's so. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to share screen, and Kelsey, just give me a heads up if it looks good. Let me just share here, and then I will advance to the next slide.
Yep, I can see it. You're good to go.
Okay, great.
Okay, everyone, welcome. First and foremost, are you in the right place? This session is for brand new mentors only and brand new advocates only. So if you've been with us for even a semester or anything beyond a semester, this is not the place for you. You've already had this session. Gather a pen or a pencil and a sheet of paper if you can. We're going to do a short activity at the end. But I will go ahead and let you know when that's coming up. Not for a while, so you have some time. Next slide, please. Okay, so our agenda for today. First and foremost, introductions of Alicia and I. We're going to go through a small icebreaker, very short, SWSG mission and vision, and an overview of our strengths-based model and the 6 C's. Who's who in SWSG? Who do you need to know? Safety and your role as a mentor with our girls, and planning and preparation for your sessions each week. The mentoring session itself, so we'll go over the order of what you'll be doing every week, and we're going to do a short reflection at the end.
Okay. So Kelsey and I are the Strong Women, Strong Girls Pittsburgh program managers. We work very closely with your chapter directors. We also work a lot with your site leaders. So if you are an active mentor this semester, we work closely with the site leaders and then the site facilitators where you are mentoring every week. And if you are an advocate, we work closely with your DEI chair. So I'm Alicia. I manage the chapters at Carlo, Carnegie Mellon, and Duquesne.
I'm Kelsey. I am the program manager for University of Pittsburgh, Point Park, and Robert Morris University. Okay, so for our short icebreaker, we do this every semester with SWSG 101 because we love it so much. So if you had to choose, what animal would you be and why? So go ahead and type it in the chat. You can shout it out if you'd like. We're going to give you about a minute on the clock to decide. This is something that we like to do in person with the girls just to get you thinking kind of how a 3rd through 5th grader might think. So we'll give you about a minute.
Kelsey, do you want me to stop sharing screen so people can read each other's responses?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. That might be easier.
Okay, great.
So think about your strengths, your weaknesses, characteristics about yourself that you can relate to working with your girls and being with your girls. A dolphin. Panda, they are cute and just eat and sleep. Yes. I would like to have a dog's life. A bird so I can fly. A polar bear. A bird.
Oh, I love tigress.
Ooh, a cheetah. I don't think we've ever had a cheetah before.
a dog because they are so
An
happy.
alpaca.
A lizard.
Aw,
Are adorable.
polar bear.
And they would love today. Today's like the perfect day to be a polar bear.
Cheetah.
Ooh, a bearded dragon lizard. Oh my goodness, Paige, you have two.
No one has ever said that before.
They're similar to dogs.
5-year-old one and one that's just a little over a year old.
So what makes them similar to dogs? Are they like the same size? Do they act kind of like a dog?
Yeah, my older one, we just let her run around the house and she'll just like do her own thing and then she lays down and she'll sleep. She loves to snuggle. Like they're just little scaly dogs. They're so cute.
Kelsey, that's what you need if you're allergic to dog fur.
I know. Oh, I have the saddest allergy in the world. I'm allergic to all fur. So sad because I love cats and dogs.
All right.
Okay, I think pretty much everyone has had the chance to answer. I don't know about you, Alicia, but I love answering this question too. So I would say if I was an animal, I saw a couple birds in there. I think I'd be a bird too. I always say I'm like a sandpiper. I don't know if any of you have seen those, but they're on the beach and they're the little birds that like run up to the water and then run right back. Because I'm kind of very hyper as a person in general, and I like to have fun and I like to be flitzy and fun. So that's kind of what I decide on every single semester. How about you, Alicia?
Well, I originally said polar bear just because it's winter and I figured I'd be really happy then. But I have to say, so, working from home, I live over on the north side and we have a pond and there are these beautiful Canada geese that fly in every morning and they're still doing that, even though it's, so cold right now, but they fly in and the way they just come sailing down and skim onto the water is just so graceful and beautiful. I wish I could do that too. So I'm gonna say Canada geese, a Canadian goose, I guess. All right, well, let's get back into the action here.
Okay. Thank you for participating. We love doing that with the girls. It's just a nice, way to get all of us laughing. So,
okay. Am I successfully sharing again here?
Yes. All right. Next slide, please.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. This doesn't like to. There we go.
Okay. So, SWSG mission and vision. So, mission is to empower girls to imagine a broader future through a curriculum grounded in female role models delivered by college women mentors. So, you. Who are themselves mentored by professional women. Those are called our strong leaders, and you'll learn about them later. Our vision is that every girl and woman realizes her power, her inner strength to dream and do. Sorry, we're in the middle of a strategic plan and we're in the middle of kind of morphing and refining what our mission and vision are. So that's why I stumbled a little bit. Okay, next slide.
Okay, I want to highlight one word there in mission, which I do not believe is going to change, or rather vision, where it says inner strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So we are a strengths-based model program. And what that means is rather than focus on deficits, the assumption that you need to go in and bring something to these girls, you need to fill them with something they are missing. We operate under the understanding that everyone has that potential inner strength that, that they can foster, that you can encourage in them. So it's very important going in. And when you work with these girls, understanding that like they have this within them and maybe they've already been recognizing their strengths. Maybe it's something that you're helping them kind of foster, but it's there. We also look at our mentors in the same way as well. So I think, some of what I want you all to think about as you go is, what are those strengths that you either have, that you have, strengths that you would love to develop further and foster by being in Strong Women, Strong Girls, or maybe strengths where you're still kind of discovering them and would love to have a chance to try to play them out more here. So when we talk about those strengths, we base the program on what is known as the 6 C's of positive youth development. So each of the lessons that you will see in the curriculum focuses on one or a couple of these C's every week. And so it's a curriculum based on role models. We'll look at a little of that more later. But each role model is going to, so like in lesson 2, if you're looking at a role model, maybe she's exemplifying character, or maybe she's exemplifying caring. So these are the 6 C's. I'll just read them through really quickly. We'll start at the bottom. Connection. Strong girls value community, and you really build a sense of community with them every week. Caring. Strong girls show kindness and concern for others. Contribution. Strong girls know how to make a positive difference. Character. Strong girls embrace their individuality. Competence. Strong girls know how to get things done. And confidence. Strong girls realize their inner strengths to dream and do. So I just want to go over a little bit of terminology for you for who's who in SWSG. And we tend to call strong women, strong girls a lot, SWSG. So you might hear that. If you are with the CMU chapter, I know they even condense that further and call it SWSG. So, you know, it's just an easy way to kind of wrap your mouth around all those words. So within the organization, Strong Women, Strong Girls, within the staff, the office, as a lot of people refer to us, you'll have your program manager. It'll either be me or it will be Kelsey, depending on which chapter you're with. And again, you know, we work very closely with the chapter leadership in your chapters. But, you know, we love having an opportunity to get to know all of you as well. Usually when we do site visits, we get to do that. We have not been able to do that as much, but, you know, we'll be doing virtual site visits, so you'll get to know us there as well. Within your university, there is someone referred to as the campus coach. If you're in another student organization, you probably call this person the faculty or staff advisor to that organization. That's what the campus coach is. Within your chapter, you have your chapter directors, who are kind of like the presidents or the leadership of your chapters, who guides the chapter. And then a site leader. And you, if you are actively mentoring this semester, many of you, except if you're CMU, because you're starting a little later, would have had your dry runs this past week. And that person, that head mentor who contacted you and helps coordinate that effort, is your site leader. At the mentoring site, you have the site facilitator. So if you had your dry run this week, that is the representative at the site, usually a school or community center, who's our point of contact there and will help get the girls joining every week, may hang out in the sessions with you, or may just be available if you need any extra help. For advocates, for sure, know who your DEI chair is in your committee or in your chapter, because you are going to be working closely with that person to develop and shape the DEI efforts that are going on in your chapter this semester. So safety and your role as a mentor, you should have, and if you haven't had an opportunity to be connected with this yet, make sure you talk to your site leader. And if you're an advocate, you know, we can certainly share out a link with you as well to the curriculum for this semester. And in the curriculum, in the front of the curriculum, are a lot of really great resources for you. There are pages that we're going to ask you. We're not going to go into detail right now. I'll just read through what it means to be a mandated reporter, because all of you, in working with these girls every week, unless you're an advocate, but if you are working with them at some point, you are a mandated reporter. So we want you to be clear about what that responsibility is. Also, I don't know if that was you in the chat, Kelsey, but Kelsey is going to be sharing in the chat these pages that are referenced on the slide that go through what does it mean to be a mandated reporter. It has questions like, if a girl says something to you and you are like, oh my, you know, how do you respond to her? You know, you listen, you're supportive, you're thoughtful, you know, you're accepting, and then, you know, if you are concerned, you talk later with the other mentors and the site leader and with the site facilitator to say, hey, I think that, you know, this girl said something that sounds like there might be something not quite right there, and we might need to follow up. So a mandated reporter is a person required by law to report any observance or suspicion of abuse toward minors to the proper authorities. Those in positions to notice signs of abuse and neglect are not only morally but legally required to report. This includes, but is not limited to, anyone who has direct and routine contact with children. Now, if you are an education major, a social work major, maybe a nursing major, you have probably come across this term before. If you haven't, and it sounds very intimidating, that is not the intention. We don't want to scare you. What that means is if you're working with a child and, you're in a session and, she says something and you're like, that doesn't sound right. What you do next is you talk to your site leader and your other mentors. And as a group, you kind of talk about that and say, okay, you know what, let's talk to the site facilitator. And sometimes, with this reporting, it might just be like the girl sounds like she's been kind of depressed, and it might be good for the site facilitator to know. Maybe the site facilitator can talk to parents or teachers. But in the case of mandated reporter, that's when you get the sense that like maybe this child is being abused at home. And again, you talk with your site leader, you talk with the site facilitator. You may, if it's serious like that, you'll be talking with us as well. So you're not kind of left out there on your own to make a decision. This is something that you talk about as a group, and you share this information so we can all make that right decision. Again, it's just something to be aware of. It doesn't come up that often, but if it does, you should be prepared. So make sure that you take the link that Kelsey will share for you. And Kelsey, were you going to share the other information?
I can share that too. So there is a more extensive training if you all are interested. Alicia and I are asking this semester for at least one person at your site to be certified in a mandated reporter like legal training. That's most likely not you. That's most likely your site leader. And I'm pretty sure that everyone has it so far. But if you're interested, it is quite a lengthy training, but it has everything you need to know. So I can go ahead and post that in the chat too. It's completely free, but it's about 3 hours long. So it is a lot. But if you want to be ultimately extremely prepared and ready to go, you get a certification that's emailed to you right after you're done completing the training. So I can go ahead and post that too.
But again, I just want to emphasize, if something comes up, you talk to the rest of the mentors, talk to your site leader. This is not for you independently to have to make a decision and move forward. Always remember, you've got your group there to support you. Planning and preparation. So if you are active this semester, you did your dry run this past week, unless you're at CMU, and then you'll be doing your dry run the week of the 8th. And that was an opportunity for the site facilitator and for your mentoring group to, make sure you can all get into the Zoom link. Make sure you discuss logistics. If there's any last minute registration or recruitment that the site facilitator is trying to do. Policies and procedures. So this was part of the blog. If your chapter director shared the blog posting with all of the links for training, one of those links was going to be for policies and procedures. So, if you're a mentor, you're part of a chapter, you want to click on that link, read through it, electronically sign it, and then you're going to want to return it by, we're going to say about the 3rd week. We know there's a lot of preparation going on during these first couple weeks. So I think that after about week 2, we'll make sure chapter directors are reminding you about that. Safety, again, we need your clearances. If you are brand new and you are going to be with girls starting next week, we need to get a copy of your Act 33, your Act 34, and your FBI report. Now, many of you, if you're new, you are only just applying for your FBI report now. Send us whatever you had in terms of like an initial invoice, just as a placeholder. But then once you get that FBI report in the mail, you can share that with us. And then that kind of takes the place of that placeholder. Also know that if you've had to pay to go through Identigo to get your fingerprinting, or if you're like living in your home state right now and you had to do it elsewhere, we will reimburse for that. So make sure that's another important reason to get your invoice to us, or you can send it to your chapter directors and they'll make sure we get it. Incident report, that is something that we ask you to complete if anything really happens in the site. So some of the things I was talking about for mandated reporting, a girl just seems like she's really, really sad and depressed, and you'd like us to kind of know about it, fill out an incident report. Again, talk to your mentoring group. They can kind of, they should be aware, but also fill out an incident report. I mean, we've had people fill out incident reports when we were in person. If a girl, tripped and fell and hurt her knee. I mean, it's just a good way for us to keep track of things. If you do an incident report, it doesn't mean that suddenly all bells and whistles are going off and there's pandemonium. It just means we know that happened. The mandated reporter is for something more serious, like you suspect there's abuse, and then there's a process that you go through for that. Again, curriculum is going to be virtual. Your site leader should have shared a link to a Google Drive that has all of these materials, which is going to include the manual, kind of like the teacher's manual that walks you through each lesson, and also the slideshows. And the slideshows are going to be the biographies you use every week. If you haven't received that, let us know, and we can share that out to everybody. Also, if you're an advocate and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to be mentoring right now, but I'd still love to access the curriculum, we can get you the link as well. Okay, let's see here. All right, the mentoring session.
Okay, so this is, of course, what you'll be doing every single week. These sections are embedded into the curriculum. And if you haven't taken a look at it yet, please try and do that this weekend. Just familiarize yourself with it because there is a lot of stuff in the curriculum that you should know. So first and foremost, we start every session with an icebreaker. Then we move into what's called roses and thorns. Then we move into something that's a little bit longer. This is kind of the meat and the potatoes of the session, the biography of a strong woman or a strong girl that you will read along with the girls and learn about her. We move into an activity related to that role model. And then we end normally in person with an SWSG cheer. However, being virtual this year has been very interesting because there is that echo effect. We'll still teach you the cheer at the end, but you might find that your site leader, who probably mentored last semester or was active last semester, they might come up with their own, individual like ending routine. I know some sites decided to do shout outs, positive reinforcement, positive encouragement, things like that. So you can kind of decide, what works best for your site and your site team. Maybe you have an idea, you've worked with kids before and you have an idea that kids really respond to close out a session. So great, next slide, please.
And I want to say, if you have any questions along the way, and I mean, we're definitely going to give a chance for you to kind of like shout them out. But if you don't want to forget, then just throw them in the chat now and we will make sure that we come back to them at the end.
Yeah, even if it's about like mandated reporter stuff too, please, throw them in the chat and we'll get back to you. I think we're going to have some time at the end too, Alicia, so we can, Okay. So icebreaker, this is what the first thing that you're going to be doing as soon as the girls sign on, as soon as you sign on. Remember, the girls are directed into a waiting room like you were today for safety purposes. So whoever is your session monitor, and you're going to be learning about that later on this afternoon, should be kind of clearing the girls to let in, making sure there's no weird emails or anything like that, and making sure that everything is safe. So as an icebreaker, this is kind of a new concept. It's just to engage the girls immediately when they sign on to SWSG. It kind of adjust your ways of thinking to maybe meeting the girls where they are that day. Maybe we're really excited that day. Maybe we're a little bit lower energy. And it's kind of a way for you to engage with them really quickly. Something that we did want to mention too, and this is kind of an adjustment from last semester, is don't take it personally. If the girls don't turn on their cameras or perhaps they don't necessarily respond right away, maybe they're on mute. Don't be intimidated by this or feel awkward. The bottom line is they did click the link. They are in the session, so they do want to be there. Maybe they're just having an off day. So just remain positive, remain excited, do the icebreaker with them. And a lot of the icebreakers in the curriculum, we have, hints for you as mentors, some tips and tricks to possibly get girls to be more engaged, turn on their camera, stuff like that. So really have fun with it, bring positive energy, because the girls are mirroring what you'll be doing. So, okay, next slide, please. Okay, peaks and valleys or roses and thorns, depending on what chapter you're with. Everyone has something different. I think Duquesne is yums and yucks. It always cracks me up, but okay, so this is essentially, if you've never done roses and thorns before, when you and the girls share one positive thing, so your rose, or that happened to you this week, or you share a thorn. Maybe that's something that perhaps wasn't so great, something that doesn't, necessarily vibe with the day. So both you and the girls are going to be sharing together. Good rule of thumb is have mentors go first, or one of two of you go first. And then you can call on the girls individually. Maybe the girls can raise their hand to go. Just kind of feel out what the situation calls for. Your site leader will probably help you with this, and your site's going to get into a rhythm. Every site is different. Some sites have a lot of girls, some sites have fewer girls. So really, it just kind of depends on what you all kind of fall into and are comfortable with. Of course, active listening is essential. Nod, smile, you can even feel free to comment. Just be sure that every girl has a chance to share. Don't move on from this unless they do. And if they don't want to share, just give them the opportunity. If they don't want to share, that's fine. You can circle up with her later. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, the biographies. So this is second to longest activity, or the section of the curriculum. So this is going to be the only time you're going to be sharing your screen, most likely. It's very easy reading. We designed the curriculum to kind of be accessible for all different readers. So each week the girls are going to be reading about a strong woman or girl role model. Some are local, some are not. And you can ask the girls to use the raise their hand feature to be called on next. You can use popcorn reading here. If your group is a little bit smaller, again, your site's going to fall into a rhythm depending on how many girls you have. Try to make at least one connection between the C for that lesson. There's 6 C's, if you remember back a couple slides. And try to make one connection between the C and their life, or a skill in their life. It really enforces the concept. And if you find that the girls might be struggling, or you might be losing your audience, they're disengaging, they're going on mute, or they're going off camera, it might be a good idea to ask questions and sprinkle questions throughout the bio. You don't have to rush through it. Again, we made the bio very easy and accessible for all readers. So hopefully you have some time to stop and maybe sprinkle in a few discussion questions along the way. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, activity. So this is the meat of the session. In each session, you'll have an activity that you do with your group. So due to being online, we made sure that these activities require very minimal or no materials at all, because your girls, some might be at home, some might be at community centers, some might be at home and community centers in the same session. So really, the girls are coming from all over the place. So we want to make sure it's as accessible as possible with very few boundaries. So the activity is really meant to solidify the C that the girls have learned about during the session, and to have fun with you. There are plenty of choices in the curriculum for the activity that relates back to the role model. We've created a few different options for you to flex and bend with your site and what your girls need on that particular day, but they're really fun. So bring the positive energy. Some are physical, they are moving around, doing yoga, different things like that. And some are more, more like show and tell. So try to encourage the girls to come on camera if they can, to engage with you, but do not force them by any means. If they don't want to, that is okay. All right.
Okay, so I'm going to read through these questions, and then we're going to come off camera. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'd like everyone to have a chance to think a little bit more about just sort of why you're here today. I know you're at training because you were told you have to be at training, but why are you joining SWSG? So what are you most looking forward to? What are your expectations for yourself? And what are your expectations, particularly if you're going to be active with the girls every week? What are your expectations as a mentor to the girls? And I would add here, if you are an advocate, what are your expectations for working with your DEI chair around that content? And again, I should have said DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion, in case you did not know what that stood for. So we asked you to grab a pen and a piece of paper. You want to take a few minutes and jot down some ideas. I'll leave these questions up for a moment so you can read through them again and think a little bit about what your goals are for yourself, and think about those 6 C's too, or, think about the strengths that you'd like to develop, or maybe ones you already have that you'd really like to put into play. And I'm going to ask you, and it looks like everybody's pretty much off camera except for us. So, so like we said with the girls, we're not taking it personally. We know that you're listening. That's okay. So, whether you feel comfortable sharing something verbally out, or if you'd feel more comfortable writing in the chat, I would like to ask if everybody could share something that they wrote down, something you feel comfortable sharing.
Do you mind putting the questions back up? Sorry.
Or yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
what I could do, hang on a second here. Let me copy and paste them into the chat. And again, I know, when I say, why are you here? Not quite literally. We know you're here because you were told by your chapter director you have to be here today. But, why are you here with SWSG? Especially during this crazy time of being virtual.
I can share for one of the questions.
That'd be great. Thanks, Audrey.
Definitely for what am I most looking forward to, meeting the girls and being able to talk with them just like organically and freely. I'm so excited to get to know all their different personalities and like what their interests are, what their hobbies are, their favorite subjects especially.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
I can share. So the reason why I'm here is because I was a big sister in a Big Brothers Big Sisters program throughout high school. And I just really love that experience and being able to have like a positive impact on kids. And a lot of my littles were boys. So I thought this would be a great experience to kind of work with girls too, especially in this time. It'd be beneficial for myself and for them, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you get to talk about unicorns a lot more with girls.
The girls will rename.
I'll share mine too.
Oh, go ahead, Morgan.
I'm a education major, so the reason I said I was here is because I think doing a program like this might allow me to see like a different side of students where they're not so like paying attention to a teacher the whole time. It's more like fun for them.
Yeah, for sure. It is fun to be like the after school, like fun person. Not like, I need your homework. I need you to put your name on this piece of paper.
And that's what we emphasize too, as an enrichment program, it's not school, it's supposed to be fun, silly fun. So a good tip that we'll probably talk about later this afternoon is playing music. The girls love that. Freeze dance, the game, they love that. So plenty of enthusiasm, lots of fun.
I can share mine real quick. So I think it's really important that younger girls have like stronger women to look up to, especially because society doesn't always emphasize that women can be leaders. So I think it's important that we like teach them by actions, not just telling them what to do, and kind of instilling those qualities in them.
Yeah, for sure. Action always, makes a big impression.
I can go. I said that I'm looking forward to showing girls that their future can be whatever they want to be. They don't have to like fit into this mold of what like their mom did or their sister. Like they can do what they want.
Yeah, that's a great response. I mean, giving them like a bigger scope of options.
I can go. I'm here because I think girls at this age, they're just moving into a different phase of life. And a lot of the times they start losing a lot of confidence. And I think that by having someone to talk to and someone to look up to, that can be avoided.
Yep.
And they can find that confidence in themselves.
Yep. I think during this time especially, right? Everyone's kind of just isolated. So having you all to hang out with and look up to is great.
I can go. I'm also, I think someone else said about the leadership with women. I'm personally very passionate about women in leadership. I'm actually doing a research project on it right now. So I thought, this would be a really interesting, like I'm studying more professional age women, but I think it would be really interesting from that standpoint to be talking to younger girls about leadership. And I also agree, I think it would be really important for girls to have a strong role model. And I've had a lot of strong female role models in my life, and I'd love to be able to sort of give back in that way.
Yeah, and I was going to say we have a whole other component. I mean, we're a multi-generational mentoring program, so we're really focusing on the girl program, but you as a mentor have access to a whole group of professional women that are involved in our Strong Leaders program who mentor, do networking events with our mentors. So definitely more information for you if you're interested in that as well.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, and we can connect you with the staff person responsible for that too. Plenty of like professional development opportunities, networking stuff.
Awesome. I love that stuff. So that sounds great.
I can go next. So, I said that I really wanted to be a part of this because, well, firstly, I'm an international student, so I'm from India, and back there you don't really have as many opportunities as such, and that's also where we really do need like an organization such as Strong Women, Strong Girls. It could be really helpful. So I'm here for the experience and also to be a part of something that I wish I could have been a part of back home.
Awesome. Amazing.
Hi, okay, I can go. I'm a psych major, and I'm really looking forward to actually being able to practice working with children and teaching them confidence, because you learn about it, but you don't always get to before you graduate. So it's really exciting.
One thing we didn't mention was we infuse trauma-informed care into the curriculum. And we were very conscious about that when we made the decision to be virtual, because we know how much more challenging this can be for everyone, and for girls especially when they can't be in and have that socializing, not always knowing what their home situations are and if school provided that stabilizing force. So I think you're going to find that in a lot of these lessons, we also build in things like self-care. So it's like caring for others, but also how do you care for yourself, and how do you kind of get, how do you regulate your own emotions if you're feeling really sad, or if you're feeling really anxious, how do you kind of practice those things yourself? So I think that's the whole social psychological component is very important as well in this context.
Yeah. And like we said, try and look at the curriculum if you haven't already over the weekend. There's our, very large interest section. It does talk about trauma-informed care and the pillars of that and how it's infused into the curriculum. So take a look at that if you have some time.
I'd like to acknowledge what people wrote in the chat. So if it's okay, I'm going to read these out. And if the author of this comment would like to expand on that, please, I'll leave a little moment. You don't have to, but if you'd like to. So let's see here. We've got, my expectation for myself as a mentor is to do all I can to make the girls feel comfortable in sharing their thoughts and feelings and feeling respected. The reason why I am here is because I was always mentored by my older sisters. And I want other girls to experience that relationship and bond with strong women. My expectation for myself as a mentor is to become a positive figure in their lives, someone that they look forward to seeing, and someone they can trust to support them and to be a positive role model. My expectation as a mentor to the girls is that they'll be able to take something positive away from this program and that they'll be able to see their potential. For sure, that's what we all hope. In looking forward to helping girls find their confidence and to help empower them. And in turn, I feel like this can be an empowering experience for myself. Yeah, I think we can't emphasize that enough. I think that, you know, it is a growing opportunity for you, but it also, I think that those connections you make with them and with your peers are just so strong. And I think we sincerely hope, because we know how hard it is to be like virtual and to be on camera a lot. And I think that, you know, we hope this is also supporting you as well with this community. I'm here to make a difference in a young girl's life. I'm really looking forward to be someone who can help and just be there for the girls. I expect myself to do my best in getting prepared for the sessions and doing work outside to be the best mentor I can be. I want to say too that some of the sessions you're going to have later today are going to involve some people that we have out. Some of them are site facilitators. Some of them just, we know them. They're part of our community network and they work with kids. They're going to talk about what their experiences have been like virtually and any advice they have. And we're also going to have some mentors who were site leaders in the fall share some of their experiences and any advice, because it's a lot harder. I think, you know, if you stick with it this semester and then you're back when we're back in person, it's, you know, there's nothing that compares with being in person, but I do think that it can be incredibly rewarding. So we're going to kind of learn from other people later today about what they learned to really enhance that, you know, experience virtually.
Yeah. And you're a part of a community now, right? And we do everything we can to help one another. And, you know, if you're with us for a couple of years, you'll come back and do a panel for us and, you know, pass on your knowledge and what you've learned in this program to, you know, new mentors. So it's really exciting. Alicia, we're at 11:18. We got a couple more minutes. Do we want to teach the cheer and then?
Yes, I think we need to teach the cheer. Now, I don't know, because all of you are kind of off camera again. So
that's okay.
Yeah, we can do it. If you'd like to chime in, that's fine, but we'll do it too. And like I said, I mean, I think, you know, Kelsey was mentioning that some people, the girls love the cheer. And everybody loves the cheer when we're in person. And some of them, we're still doing it. We're going to talk this later today about how you create closure with the girls at the end of the session. I think some people who thought, oh, it kind of sounds like a dying creature when everyone's trying to shout at the same time, they might have done something else. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But, you know, the cheer is the cheer. And it is something that you will definitely be doing when we're back in person. So let's give it a go. Okay, let's see here. Okay, just give me a check, Kelsey, that are you seeing this, just the slideshow right now, mentor?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So we'll talk it through, and then Kelsey, you and I can do it full volume. And if anybody else wants to join, you can, or you can stay on mute and do it quietly, privately. Okay.
Okay. So I am
strong.
I am proud. Hands on your hips. And I'm not afraid to
shout it out
loud. Strong women, strong girls. Strong women, strong girls. Strong women, strong girls. Strong women, strong girls.
I don't know if you can see us. We're doing the hand gestures, but anyway, we do that in person. I will say the most hilarious thing is when you get a bunch of girls when they get to that second line and they're like, I'm not afraid to, and they're like, shout it out loud. And you're like, whoa, you are not. All right, so should we try it full volume?
Let's see if we can do, let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay, yeah, we can try.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? I am strong, I am proud, and I'm not afraid to shout out loud.
Strong women, strong.
Strong girls, strong women, strong girls, strong women, strong girls, strong women, strong girls. I'm like screaming in my room right now. Hopefully everything's okay. All right,
so that'll be important at some point.
Yeah.
We move on from that point. Okay, so here, let me stop sharing again. And we would like to ask if there's any other questions you'd like to ask now. We're going to go over a little bit more of the format this afternoon with some of the returning mentors. But if there's any questions where you're like, I don't know if I should ask this with a bunch of returning mentors being around, please, come off camera, share, put it in the chat. And one other thing we are going to, or, you can stick around for a couple minutes too, but one thing we would like to ask all of you to do is just to complete a survey. We do this typically with each session that we have at training. So this also gives us an idea of like how to tweak for future sessions. So Kelsey just put it in the chat. If you can click on that now and go ahead and fill that out. And while you're filling it out, anybody has a question, please feel free to ask us.
Hi, I had a quick question.
Yes.
So if you're not an active mentor, are you an advocate?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what that means is if you are an advocate, you're likely going to be working with the diversity, equity, and inclusion chair at your chapter. And they tend to work on, like, maybe you have a session during your chapter meeting where you talk about certain topics, maybe you watch a video and talk about it, but they might also do some other events that are separate from those chapter meetings. So Leah, which chapter are you with?
I think the Pitt one.
Pitt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Zaina, what's Zaina's last name? Zaina
Yunus.
So she's your DEI chair, and I know that I think she did a lot in the fall, so I think she's got a lot of great plans. So you will be in that session with her and other DEI, advocates and chairs, the facilitation around DEI this afternoon, and they'll talk a little bit more in depth about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
I had a quick question. I'm already a mandated reporter for my job. Should I send that to my chair to have them send it to you guys?
What chapter are you from?
I'm Point Park.
You're Point Park? Okay, send it to Casey and Gina. Yep.
Okay.
Just the certificate. Yep. Any other burning questions? Oh, and again, actually, Alicia, why don't we put our emails in the chat?
Okay.
And if there's something that you want to ask, but just don't want to ask it here, you can feel free to email us.
Okay. I didn't put my name next to mine, but that is me. And I don't think we have any Carlo students here today, so I'll just say Duquesne and CMU, and then Kelsey is Pitt, PPU, RMU.
And again, we meet with your chapter directors every week too. So we're as involved as we can be with your chapter. So if you have any questions, you don't feel comfortable emailing me or Alicia, please tell them about it and they can tell us about it too.
And we, we email your site leaders a lot. I would
Mhm.
say while people are completing their surveys, we can probably throw a quick link into the curriculum right here just now. So if you want to save that, here, let me see here. You tell me if you find it first and I'll tell you if I find it first.
Okay. All right, Alicia, I've got it right here. I'll put it right in the chat. It's a big file. I hope it downloads okay for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. If you use Drive, save it in Drive.
And like I said, too, we've got a program calendar in there. We've got information on trauma-informed care, mission and vision, core values, how to be a great mentor. All these different things are in the intro. And then after that, of course, are your sessions, the lessons you'll go through every week.
Your site leader should be sharing a file, a Google Drive file that has this, and it has all of the slideshows. Now we had to send them updated links because there were some challenges with the links we sent them the first time. So make sure you get that from them. The other thing is, if you are going to be actively mentoring for your first session next week, unless you're CMU, and this will be for your first session the week of the 15th, you're going to need to create a slide about yourself that just introduces yourself. So please make sure that your site leader has shared that with you, or reach out to them. Or if they haven't, let me know, let your chapter directors know, in case like there were some last minute additions. Maybe you just got added to a site. Okay. Has everybody had a chance to fill out the survey? And has everybody had a chance, if they want it, to pull that PDF of the curriculum? And don't forget, if you haven't had a chance yet, if you scroll up to around 1049, 1053, we've got two PDFs up there. One are the pages from the curriculum, specifically to talk about mandated reporting, how to have challenging conversations, that might arise with girls. And then also, if you need to do that or want to do that mandated reporting, it's actually Pitt has this online module that you have to go through. So it's a little longer. You kind of have to decide you're going to sit and do it for a couple hours, because if you walk away for a half hour and come back, it'll log you out. But again, that's probably not a role you're going to need to play with your site right now. But
yeah, not yet. Yeah.
But if you
want to.
Yeah, but if you'd like to, it's there. So just make sure you pull all the links you need. I say this because I always scramble to try to pull these things out of chat. I'm like, oh no. But we'd like to welcome all of you, and we're so glad you're joining. And we really hope that you have a rewarding experience, whether you're going to be an advocate, whether you're going to be an active mentor. And
it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
Challenging, but exciting at the same time.
Yeah, I forgot about that, Kelsey, but I feel like we're kind of down to like a minute now.
Last couple minutes. Okay.
All right. So like we said, we'll stick around here. If anybody wants to, stay and ask a question, pull out another link, but you're free to go. And your next session is going to be at noon. It's going to be a different link. So make sure you find that link. It'll be an introduction with Natalie, who's our president. And then either you're going to go into DEI or you're going to go into facilitation with kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.